he's like, I can't fucking do it. And I'm like, please, man, let me kill you. And he's like, just starts like hyperventilating. He's like, we must suffer for art. So he like runs in and we're like, all right, everybody get ready. And then we just dump a shitload of fucking blood on him. And like immediately after, we're like just taking his clothes off and like starting.
Welcome to the 143rd episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Dearings, of the show interview bands and public figures from the Mathcore adjacent communities. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all the things social. Every little bit helps. And feel free to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast where you can interact with the guests live or just hang out in the chat. You can subscribe to this Twitch channel for just $5 to get access to some exclusive emotes and access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and other streaming platforms. You can also do that for free by attaching an Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest today who dropped their new EP, Bedsore's Domino Effect, last Friday. Welcome in the Motion Mosaic. How's it going?
Howdy.
Going good. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm doing. So this EP, what do you title it? Do you just call it Bedsore's Domino Effect, or?
Yeah. It's just the two
call
singles.
It the EP, or so you
I think
do
like
use
we
words.
got the idea from like the Colossal Wreck. Every Time I Die record, like the two songs they released like in the pandemic in 2020. They're just like, yeah, that's fine. It's just two songs.
Okay. Oh, that works.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us who you are, what you do in the band?
Justin, I play bass.
I'm Cody. I play guitar.
I'm Steve. I scream.
I'm Jonah. I play drums.
And
Alrighty.
Jake, our other guitar player who just joined, is not with us currently. He's
Like,
still
physically.
alive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's
He's-
not here.
He's still with us, just not with us.
Ignis Farster in chat says new record, and it only took Cody 4 seconds to mention Every Time I Die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Sure did. Oof. It won't be the last time.
So I saw on Rate Your Music that you guys formed in 2015. How did the band come together?
Dude.
It was just Jonah and I. I kind of knew Jonah like post high school, I guess. He was still in high school, but post high school for me. And it was back when I played guitar. And I remember making a tweet in like 2015 or 2014 or something along the lines of like, I just want to start like the sickest metalcore band, but like August Burns Red, but with like less Christianity and more not, and and Jonah was like first one to pipe up.
Yeah.
And so we started jamming out. I played guitar at the time and wrote some songs, and and then everything just kind of started to fall into place for writing our first record, Samsara, and
So it was just you two for Samsara then?
No, so
Virtually. Yeah.
yeah, so it's a weird like it's kind of a weird timeline. So like Jonah and I recorded Samsara before we had like a fully functioning band, and then it sat in the studio for a long time. And then we got Spencer to jump on vocals and Justin on bass. We put out the record in 2016, and then like probably like 2 months or maybe a month after that, Cody joined, and we've been doing that ever since.
It seems like there's a 4-year gap in between releases, between your first album and then Avant Garbage. Well, what happened with a 4-year gap?
Oh, dude. I mean, well, kind of like Steve said, money, right?
It's always money. Yeah.
Well, like what happened is that like at first this band was such a pet project between just Steve and I, and I think from the outside it looks like a long time, but really when we released it, there was 4 of us. We had never played any of the songs live. Cody wasn't a part of the band yet, so like we weren't really like the unit that was on Avant Garbage really until we had played a lot together and wrote more songs together, and that just kind of took a long time. And money also.
Yeah, I mean, like we recorded Avant Garbage in very early 2019, and like that was like a whole thing too, because like we wanted to like live out some dreams, you know, when we did that, like let's find a great studio to record at. So we went to Kevin Entrezian. Kevin, I can never say it right. Kevin Entrezian, I think it's just fine.
Sure,
yeah. Yeah, and he used to play guitar for Dillinger Escape Plan, and like it's everybody in the mathcore's favorite band. And so like we made like a push to like do a couple of different people, and we like kind of like figured out quotes and stuff, and he just ended up being the most financially sound one out of all of them, like to make a decision with.
Also, his records sound sick.
Yeah,
No, that like
Yeah.
that wasn't all of it for sure. But you know, like, and we had to like make the time to go out to New Jersey to do that, and we like kicked ass like trying to like learn all the songs correctly to like record them in 10 days, you know, like get it all done. And that was a treat. But you know, like we had to practice a shitload together to like get good at them and play the songs live.
Just
and
even like develop a chemistry too, and like know what we like to do and what people added to the band.
Okay.
It was just like growing pains, I guess. I think that we didn't really establish like a direction. Even with like our first release, it was all kind of like up in the air, kind of like between the Buried and Me Worship. And we decided that we didn't want to do that again. And we were kind of trying to figure out some of the like nuances and some of the stuff that we wanted to kind of form an identity. And I think Avant Garbage was the first time that we, as a band, kind of like decided to lock in on a sound and have like contributions that were greater than just like, you know, Jonah and I, you know, like having like a full band that can accompany like the music that was being written.
Hell yeah. Well, that was one of like my favorite releases from 2020.
Thank you.
Avant Garbage. Like it came out really well. And it does feel more, I guess professional is a good word, as opposed to Samsara. I didn't listen to all of Samsara, but the songs I did listen to, Avant Garbage does come up better.
Cool.
Yeah, I think like,
there's some 8 to 9 minute long songs. Yeah.
That's the thing like about Avant Garbage. It's like we had like a couple of different things that were like goals doing that, and that was like writing songs, you know, like making sure that they were like full
structured
songs that like made sense
and not just parts, you know.
And yeah, and like really like leaning into like everybody here has like different like ideas of what they like, and we kind of like figured out what we all like together, and a lot of that is like more hardcore. And so like I don't feel like we ever set out to be a mathcore band, you know, and like Samsara is like definitely in that like prog, like Between the Buried and Me like style stuff, and like we're all super influenced by that stuff still, but like we all kind of were like, we like hardcore music like a lot more. And so like the mathcore thing just kind of like came out of us wanting to be like more into like the hard, like leaning into that hardcore stuff.
I have noticed that you guys, and even on like this new stuff, y'all have gotten more groovy and hardcore oriented.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, so now you're back with this 2-song EP. How do you think I guess you kind of just mentioned it, but how has your sound evolved since Avant Garbage?
I think it's become more, I already used this word once before, but it's become a lot more concise. I think we have a better idea of how we want to structure songs. We kind of, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for me, I felt like this was the first, not the first time, but like this was when we kind of started to be like, okay, like let's look at this a little bit more like formulaic, you know, like in regard of like structure. Like for the first single, Bed Sores, like that was the first time we'd all like gotten in a room, you know, like post beginning of pandemic, you know, like we hadn't seen each other in like 4 months or something like that, just for safety concerns. And we finally got in the room, and that was when we found out that Spencer, our original vocalist, had decided to part ways, and we kind of we didn't really, like we would like practice some of the old stuff, but we figured while we're together, we should utilize the time to kind of like come up with something together in a room and build something together in a room. And I remember specifically we had a whiteboard that had it had like labels of each part that was written. Like, this is the intro riff, this is the verse, this is the chorus, this is the breakdown, this is the, and it was just it was so weird to like write like that, because that's something that I had never done and something I don't think any of us had really done.
No, and like for context too, like I'm sure like anybody listening to this that plays in the band and like doesn't use a fucking computer to write music is like, yeah, duh. Like that's yeah, you get in a room and you do the intro, you do the verse, you do the chorus.
Well, I don't think that a lot of bands have gotten to the point where they're like, oh, we need to like write this shit down. You know what I mean? Like a lot of bands, they don't get to the point where they're like trying to focus on song structure and stuff like that. Like what you guys are doing.
Yeah, but I mean, just even we had never written a song just starting from a riff and then just going, all right, we're gonna do all of the writing together in a room. Nobody's going to take the song and do everything themselves and then present it to the group and we all just learn it, which is kind of what we had done in the past a lot of. So that's kind of why I think if you're listening to Bed Sores and it feels maybe a little more simplistic or distilled in kind of the song structure, that's probably why. So that was kind of a big jump for us.
Yeah, I think developmentally, like that's like, as far as like what we wanted to focus on was like development of riffs and stuff like that and melodies. And it sounds funny to like say that because like making it simpler makes it sound like we were like playing like, like, like the whole time. But, and like realistically, the song is like mostly in 5 and then like 5/8. And then like, as far as the time signature goes, and then like it sits in 13/8 a lot of the time. So like realistically, it's not that simple. And there's like development in the key structure as well, and like how we like go about adding tonalities and stuff. And it was really funny like watching that like come out, because like we thought we were being simpler and we kept saying it to ourselves over and over again that we were being like simpler, but like it doesn't, like when you listen to the songs, I don't really feel like it feels like super simple all of the time. Like it still has like we had a review that was just like talking about how they couldn't like follow those songs, and I was like, what do you fucking mean? Like
for like avant-garde
same fucking riffs over and over
oh
again.
for these 2 songs you had a review that said that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like,
what?
follow what was going on, like, yeah, I don't know, sometimes I don't know, reviews are like whatever.
It's cool, man. People like what they like.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's crazy. I could kind of see where that could come from, like avant-garbage, but not for this stuff. Like this shit, it's not that hard to follow. To me, so you've always had this big prog influence. This time around, it seems like you're more focused on groove and stuff. Like I was saying, you're becoming more of like a more Dillinger, less Between the Buried and Me, I guess is a good way of putting it. Sure. It's still proggy, but it makes you want to like bounce the whole time. Especially the first song. What was the first one again?
Bed Sores, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that one is awesome. It's so good. Like, it just had me going, fuck yeah, from the beginning, dude. That's so good.
Cool. Yeah, that's from years of like playing a fucking 9-minute song to like 15 people that are looking up at you, like yawning into their hand.
Wrap it up, wrap it up.
No, this is your best stuff yet. I feel like y'all have taken a really good direction. Like, this is a good place to explore for y'all. Like, this is great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So y'all mentioned Between the Buried and Me. What are some other influences going to this?
You want to just go around the horn again?
Sure.
Yeah, might as well.
Justin, you haven't spoken much.
Probably Converge. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go out and say it again, so you can get like a bell out if you want. Ding! Every time I die.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, for me though, the answer is Converge too. Like the whole domino effect, like drum pattern and the style of drumming on that. Like that's how the song started, was with the drum parts. And like I was definitely like thinking of like what would Ben Colder do and trying to incorporate that. particularly with that song. So that would be mine on this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably like Dillinger. I'm still a bit of a like between the Buried and Me stand. I don't really like the direction that they've been headed towards for the last like 7 years, but the shit that they do got it like everything like through the Parallax too is like, to me, like that shit I could just keep going back to,
That was my favorite band in high school.
I think for me that was like fundamentally like what like changed my whole like perception of music, and bands like the Human Abstract too, like those were really big, especially from like a melodic standpoint, being able to hear, being that they're like a neoclassical metal band, like hearing that was like the first time I'd really paid attention to like keys that were being used. That was the first time that for me I could hear something and it just sounded so refined in nature, and there's so many layers going on. And when we're writing like melodies, even like vocal melodies, like I try to keep that in mind, because there's a really healthy balance between what's going on all around the room, between guitars, bass, drums, and vocals, and I think that's a band that made me like super conscientious of that. And I think that made writing vocal melodies to begin with like a little bit less a little bit like less taxing, like just paying attention to how it sits with everything else. So yeah, and rant. Sorry.
Oh, what's your favorite between the Buried and Me album?
Ooh,
There's a right answer
probably
here.
there is a right answer, but I don't want to say Colors, but it's Colors for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the Great Misdirect's great too.
That's the one I was gonna. That's my favorite. It's the wrong answer, but
For
like,
me, it's
my
personally
favorite.
for me it's Alaska. Selkies is too damn good.
That's dope.
Alaska.
Yeah, dope. Great.
Gold.
Yeah.
Alaska's
marathon, bro.
it's such a palate cleanse to like go from listening to like the elevator prog that they've been releasing to Alaska, and it's like, oh, this shit slaps, like it's
Right.
just so much more grounded. But I don't know, I'm cool with what they're doing now. It's not really my thing.
What's yours, Justin?
BT band?
Yeah.
Great Misdirect.
Yeah.
It's short and
It's not fucking short.
shorter
It's
than
6 songs.
it's
It's
shorter than the
fucking
other one.
72 minutes or something like that.
it's shorter than
It's 6
Well,
songs.
to y'all that's short because the songs aren't 9 minutes long. So
yeah 9 minutes.
You got us
It's a
already.
breezer.
We're never
So-
gonna let that band.
y'all said that you do all the writing together now. Does Steve, do you still do the vocals on your own, or is that like a collaborative process too?
No, so before Spencer and I Spencer would do like 90%, probably 95%, and I would throw in like a 5%, like do like some of the singing stuff, but Spencer pretty much covered it all. And when we decided to throw me on as a vocalist, after like 2 practices of going through like a set, I was like, guys, I can't do this by myself. Like, there's no way. Like,
Makes you wonder how Spencer did it.
yeah, man. Like, what
He
the
kicks
fuck?
ass.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I used to give him shit about it too, but
right. Why aren't you practicing
Yeah.
during practice?
What the fuck?
It
Yeah.
sucks.
no, it's hard, man, and it hurts if you're not careful. And
Right.
so I asked everybody. I was like, dude, like, I'd really love it if you guys could, moving forward, like contribute both like in a live setting, compensating for the stuff that I can't hit, and also just recording, and I think that these 2 singles it was the first time you'd contributed vocals to any of our songs. I think you did like a couple things.
I did like
Garbage.
one thing
but
on Nirvana.
but they've been a lot more like predominantly like they've been helping out, and it's been really nice, because I think that having like having some variety and like tonality, you can hear that in a record, and I think that's something that's really underappreciated, and that's something that bands kind of like shy away from.
No, yeah, I
Um,
love multiple like vocal attacks. It's really good. But what about lyrics in particular? Do y'all share the lyric burden?
So far it's been I'd say I write most of them, but we've all gotten in a room together. Cody in particular has helped out a lot, but we've gotten in a room like while we're demoing stuff out, and there's ideas that are thrown around, and that's
I think
always
the like basis of what is said in the lyrics is done by Steve, and then anything else, is kind of like flavored.
yeah. It's I think like I think that I don't know. So like some people are weird about like sharing like the role of like writing lyrics, but like for me, it's about as like it's the same thing as like contributing to a song, like me, like instrumentally.
Right.
I don't think that should just. It's different for every band, but like for me, I feel like everybody has like the opportunity to contribute, to a song, whether that's instrumentally or lyrically. It all falls together, and lyrics represent a song just as much as the music, the instruments do. So, why not make it like a group effort,
Right. Well, so I thought I knew what your lyrics were about, and then I saw your videos, and I don't think I know what they're about anymore. So what are your lyrics about?
That's a great question.
That's a great segue. That's a great one.
So when I was writing Bed Sores, it was at a time during the initial like shutdown during the pandemic where days turn to months kind of thing, that whole cliche. And I remember my then fiance, now wife, we were living together, and I found myself kind of like I found myself spending most of my days not really doing like shit, not doing anything. And she'd come home from work, and like she would see me just like in a fucking like just in like a lethargic state of being, and I don't know, I'd almost get like when she called me out on it, I'd almost get like mad, and I'd get in my own head about shit. And then like being quarantined and having everything shut down for as long as it was, like I was kind of going stir crazy and kind of contemplating like, like what are we doing here? Like I'm kind of wasting my life. And basically like blaming everybody else around me for my shortcomings, like not being motivated, not doing anything. And that wasn't my whole, like I had some very like, I don't know, I had productive days, but like when I look back from like March to like December of 2020, it was just that, it was just being at home and just being like a total like fucking reclusive, dude. And that's not normally like my MO, at least I don't think it is. And I don't know, just looking back on that and kind of like blaming her and blaming everybody for every shortcoming I've had, I guess, throughout my life. Like it kind of, I don't know, I look back at that like retrospectively when we're starting to jot down lyrics, and that was just kind of like the first thing that started coming out, and I kind of leaned on that. So that's the gist of what that song is. It's basically just blaming everyone around you and losing sense of time and realizing that you're 90 before you know it, and then Domino Effect is just more of like a in line with my reclusive, like lethargic state of being. Like I was hitting the bottle a lot and just being like a total like fucking, like sitting on the couch watching YouTube, just letting like my life pass by. And like to this day, like March to December 2020, couldn't tell you a single day. Like don't remember, like every day just blurred into one thing. And Domino Effect is more or less just me pushing people that are close to me away, from trying to like help me cope with that, and trying to help me like better govern my bad habits. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And it can be interpreted however people want to interpret it, but that's my truth on the matter, I guess.
My truth.
That's a great description, man. I feel like I knew what I thought Bed Sores was about was correct, but the domino effect. You have a music video where you show like protests and shit like that, and I was like, wait, this is like political. I don't understand how it's.
I mean,
political.
I don't think the song's political. I mean, it's more just like, maybe I'm probably speaking for Steve here, but I think like part of the nature of that is like you're inside, but outside that's happening, and you're just trapped and like you can't do anything.
Okay.
But just like look through a screen to see all that bad shit happening.
That goes around
everything.
That was all happening in the background too, and that's something that I'd forgotten to mention. We live in Minnesota, and
oh yeah, you're
George
kind of like
Floyd.
you're in the epicenter of all that then.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That
and
was a big deal.
when George Floyd was killed, I mean, they're on top of this like restlessness and like this like uncertainty that the pandemic like brought upon everybody. Having that happen, and especially so close, and especially something that was so vile, that hit close to home. And it was about a year later, I think, when Dante Wright was killed.
Yeah, and that was just up the street from where, like, I live like 4 blocks from where George Floyd was killed, and then Steve and Justin, they live like 4 blocks away from where Dante Wright was killed by a cop.
Oh, damn.
That thought she was pulling out a taser, and that was like all in a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether she actually thought that, or that's an interpretation.
And like
Yeah,
we thought it was good to kind of use that more or less as like this like background, what's going on, like focused on the subject of the music video, because that was pretty much what it was. Like we can't be like like, yeah, like there's just all this shit that was happening, and coupled with that
we're stuck inside.
sense of that sense of like isolation, and it all, I feel like it all kind of came together in the video pretty well, all in all.
It's a really good idea for a song. I really like that one. You don't hear stuff like that too often. But I mean, I feel like the way you're describing it too, it's like so deep and shit that's great. A lot of people just put like words to songs. So,
Yeah, usually that's how it starts, but over time you kind of like, you're like, okay, there's meaning here, and then you come up with a new line.
Well, like I talk to a lot of people, and I don't really get descriptions like that for songs. So I feel like this is something that like you're really connected to, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I should almost keep it more ambiguous. Like instead of just like fucking like, oh, like here, my heart's on my sleeve, like take a look, like I don't know.
Man,
No, I like it like this. Like it's so good. It makes me like I'm gonna be thinking about the song differently, like going back and listening to it after talking to you guys about it.
Oh man.
So this is recorded, mixed, and mastered by Adam Tucker of Signature Tone Recording. How was it working with him?
Dude, we've worked with him so many times.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean,
Steve and I's first band, like when we were in high school, it wasn't our first band, but it was like probably our first like professionally recorded band. It was called The Boy and His Dog, and that was definitely like a like more number 12 style, like kind of like we were involved in kind of that kind of stuff. And we worked with Adam, and Adam was like some guy I just like found on the internet, and it worked out that time. Like other times it doesn't work out. You end up in some dude's studio that worked at like, or that went to like the Art Institute or some shit for engineering.
Yeah, it's like in his grandma's basement or some shit.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's like fucking plugging in the samples for the drums, and all you can hear is the kick drum. Yeah, Adam like is super good. He's worked with like the Crin, who were like a long time like that was like a mathcore band too.
Oh yeah, they're sick.
Wanderer,
False, black metal band. very cool. Their guitar player got canceled, so probably
They're
keep
done
that
now,
Forgot about that.
out in the open. But
Damn.
yeah, I mean, like Adam's fucking brilliant, and he's all like he's virtually self-taught, and he works out of like Reaper.
Okay, dude, Reaper's
and-
awesome. That's the program I use too. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
same.
what we
Yeah.
use. And he's taught us so much, and like he's probably like 5-6 years older than us, and it's like it feels like having like a fucking band dad, you know,
okay.
that just teaches you lessons while you're doing things. And Adam is like definitely gets in like Steve Albini like plumber mode when he's recording. So like he doesn't like try to like produce you. You know, like he's not trying to like change our songs or anything. He'll like help us with some of the like tonality of the songs and stuff. But I think this time going in, especially at working with Kevin Antresian, like working with him, we found out a lot about what we can do to make textures happen, especially with like pedals and overdubs and that kind of stuff. And so we went into this recording process, like we self-recorded ourselves. Like we've been like slowly getting better and better at pre-proing and stuff like on our own. And so we like knew what we wanted to do going in. And then like anything that happened while we were there that was like extra was like not relied upon to make the songs good, I guess. You know, it was just like extra, like it was like a little like flare of shit that happened where it was like, you know, like let's try this fuzz pedal instead of that one, like this HM2 style guitar pedal, or like add like an extra tom thing here. And we like really like guided that entire recording process in like a self-produced manner where we knew everything that was going to happen up and down. And Adam is just like, yep, as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah. And he makes it sound good after that.
And it's funny too, because like, I guess from like Steve and I's perspective, like we were talking about Samsara earlier. I mean, that was like Steve home recording 2 guitars and a bass and then having it reamped, and then just me recording drums over it. So like the sound, so like, because Adam just allows you to direct how you want to sound, and he's just going to put out whatever you record and just make it sound the best it can. And he's not adding anything. When you hear that, what we actually were contributing to the record versus what we added to it now, and all the extra layers and just our self-awareness when we were going into the studio. I mean, it sounds like it was recorded by 2 different people because we knew what we were doing going in.
Well, shit, y'all are just a straight professional band now. Like that's awesome that y'all are able to like put your mind to.
That's
like,
what I meant.
that's
Yeah,
great.
it's totally professional. Real deal. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of these kind of guys too, where like if you can't play your part, he'll just tell you like
His Wi-Fi password is "Did you practice?"
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Justin, how was it recording with him? You hadn't said too much.
Oh, great. Yeah. Can't say enough good things about Adam. Kind of to piggyback off of what Cody said, he won't try to change the sound of the band. Like he's not the type of guy who's like, oh, you use this amp and guitar, you have to use my amp and guitar. Like he'll like set aside his differences to, you know, capture the band sound. Kind of to piggyback off what Steve said.
Tough.
Yeah. So you had artwork done by Ethan McCarthy. On your Bandcamp it says /Hell Simulation. What the heck is that? Is that like
his,
what?
Artist title?
Oh, okay, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
kinda
He's
weird,
the
right?
vocalist and guitarist of Primitive Man.
oh shit. Oh, okay. This makes so much
Yeah.
more sense now.
That was something like Justin's super into him as well, but it was just like something we wanted to get this like dark tonality to our record and like kind of guide the artwork as well to go with that. So like the videos are in black and white, and like the artwork is in black and white, and he like specializes in this like monochrome, I guess, like artwork where it's like there's one image and that's usually like in white, and then in the background it's darker, and like all the Primitive Man records are done by him. And then you know, I think he might have done some like Knoll records or something, but
yeah, he's
like,
been around. He's been around doing a lot of work. I think he did do the old one. He might have done the newest one too.
Tommy Rogers from Between the Buried and Me, his
Oh
solo
yeah,
record,
that's true.
his newest one.
Yeah.
So we got it up on screen now. Is that supposed to be a beehive or a honeycomb or something that's in the? I guess it's a doll's head.
Yeah, I think it's just a face that's been contorted, and there's a whole bunch of shit happening like in this region.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That
This
kind of
is
looks like
our
a
song that
honeycomb.
took the
Maybe it's not
lyrics.
though.
Yeah, he like had like all of the stuff before he made the art, and he like requested the songs like and the lyrics to like make the art. And I don't know how much, like, we obviously, like, he lives in Denver, so like we don't know how much like he put into that and how much stock he put into that, but I feel like that definitely has like a serious representation of the like interpersonal like issues that are happening within the lyrical content.
Well, it's certainly
Yeah.
a creepy looking photo, and it goes really well with the music, I think. So it's awesome.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely trying to go for like a more bleak, just more bleak and kind of more like serious.
Especially because like our other stuff, like we were talking about, like this stuff's a little heavier. It's a little bit more, organic in how we wrote it, and it's darker, and the lyrical content is dark. And like our other records are like pink and orange.
Right. They're super
And so
bright.
we're
and
like,
colorful.
we were allowed to do black and white. We're like a heavy band. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys also got some music videos done. Gonna be playing them in the background. We got Domino Effect up first. You want to walk us through this video?
Yeah.
Like where'd the idea come from?
Yeah. So for this video, a good buddy of mine, Joe Liram, he basically offered to make a video with us for no charge because he wanted more experience. He's gotten into filmography and photography, and he's kind of a musician by trade, so it's kind of sweet that he's entering a new element, a new avenue.
Is he the guy in the video then? The
No.
No, other friend.
Yeah, different
Big
friend.
homie project.
Yeah, all this has been just a wild homie project. I think it should be said that Joe was like involved with the Motion Mosaic from a very early
Yeah.
point, like before the band had a name, before like anybody.
Him and I would just get together and jam, and like there's a couple of the riffs like in Samsara that like Joe wrote, super wicked talented dude. He offered to shoot a video basically for no charge, and we're like, fuck yeah, we have no money, so let's do it.
We paid him.
We did pay him, but whatever, that's irrelevant. The conditions were set. It was going to be a free video, and he knocked it out of the park.
He did too good of a job, and then we had to pay him.
We had to pay him because we
Otherwise,
felt
would've been
bad.
dicks.
Yeah. But basically, the main subject, John, he's kind of portraying this. He's portraying what's happening in the lyrics, kind of just more. It's a little bit less focused on like external help being pushed away, and more just on him like going crazy and running amok throughout his house and
Being alone and isolated.
being alone. And there's a part where he jerks off in front of the TV or in front of the laptop. It's very subtle.
We're actually like coming up on that part right now, but yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, is that before or after like the fucking bomb goes off? Because that would have been just perfect.
Yo, this is news to me. I saw it, and I thought maybe you guys laughed about it.
Oh man, we should have put that part right before the whammy.
Right before the dive bomb. Oh, dude. Yeah.
You should have put that in instead of the riots. Just John.
Yeah.
Going to
Dude, during the double bass part.
yeah.
Double bass increases.
I mean, this is
intensity.
like literally 3 seconds of the video tops that we're focusing on here. Now we're selling
Yeah.
John out to the 15 people that are here.
Yeah.
Good for John, though. I mean,
John's
No.
a real actor.
He is a real actor. He
Yeah,
can jerk
I
off.
feel like that jerk off scene just like opens up doors for him. You know what I mean?
I opened it. It's like when Daniel Radcliffe did that play and he was naked.
What
You
the
really need
fuck
that
did
on
it
his
really
Tinder
happen?
account,
What?
I think. Like it's
Yeah.
Hinge, like just that
Oh.
that clip.
Dude, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
You gotta do Hinge because it's the app that's meant to be free.
Why did we put pants on him when we put him in the pool for that last scene? Then I feel
Okay,
like-
so that last scene, we had to find a pool to like do like his drowning thing, you know, and like he's like drowning in the bathtub, and then it opens up, you know, like into that big, wild like scene where he's underwater. Joe did an incredible job getting all that stuff, but my mom works at a hotel, and so like I like called my mom and I'm like, hey mom, I'm 30 and I know that I've been asking you for help with my bands for years, but like, can we borrow the pool? And she's like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna kill my best friend. And she's like, no. I was like, we gotta do it. We probably gotta kill John. And
So we did. Yeah,
and so yeah, no, like it was really cool. There was nobody there. It was like a Sunday, and like there was a football game going on, so nobody was checked into the hotel.
Oh, that's why I
And-
wasn't there.
And we just like, you know, like we drowned John, and it was pretty sweet. He's still alive, fortunately for some of us.
Going back to Joe, it was so fun. He's such a trooper because like there was a point we're all like swimming in the pool while he was filming. Like Cody and I were just like hanging out with our shirts off and our fucking guts hanging out. We're just like, yep, yep. And
Doing great.
yeah, and there's a point where John was floating face down in the pool, and Joe is getting a shot from underneath him, but he's flapping his feet to get like momentum while he's pushing underneath John. So he looked like an otter, just like swimming underneath, like coasting underneath John. I have a visceral memory of that. And it's just funny. It's probably not as funny now that they say it out loud,
I
but
think it's funny.
it was great. Yeah. Anyway, that's domino effect.
We got
That's
bed
what the
sores
music
up
video's
now.
about.
Or we did. I don't know what happened. Hey, so hold on.
No.
And it just went. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're back. We're back. I don't know what happened.
Tight.
there. Anyway, so what's the idea behind this one?
You should
Sorry,
take
Is
this.
this
Bed
bed
sores?
sores?
Bed sores.
Oh, the story of how we almost killed our other friend?
Yeah.
Actually.
So one of my other best friends, Matt, is the actor in that, and always fantasized about killing him. And that's just like a general theme, I guess, for the record now. Yeah, we I don't know, like we wanted to like get a music video done, and originally it was gonna be like a one-shot thing where it was all in the same area. And you know, we had like a bunch of like crazy like broken glass scenes and stuff that didn't like make it because like there were just things in the way, and people got like fake blood on their pants, and like Matt, man, so you know, like we recorded this all in like our practice space. We like pulled the carpet up and like removed all the posters and removed all the crap, and like we repainted the practice space. This was before that, but like that's kind of like what helped with getting the idea done. It was pretty like gross in there, and we set up like a bed and shit, and I was like going for like, I was super into The Lighthouse, the Robert Eggers film.
I haven't seen that one.
I fucking love that film. Like one of my favorites.
Did you say you haven't seen it?
I haven't.
Oh, yo, it's sick. You should watch it.
Yeah, it's just like about like two guys that get like stuck on an island outside of like Maine, and they like go through like all of the like symptoms of like just being like stuck inside and like dealing with each other. And it's kind of a ghost story, kind of not. Like it's definitely up to interpretation, but you know, like I was like, I want to like make it this like isolationist exhibition of my friend, and you know, we got this like crazy idea to like do the Carrie thing with him, you know, at the end when the blood spills all over him and shit. And so we're like shooting, and Matt's got all this like what is it, like it's not plastic, like what's the
Silicon.
yeah, it's like silicone fucking like makeup on his face or something, and anyway, like, so you like rip it off, and it like shows like the wounds that are underneath it, and that's like throughout the video you can kind of like see that happening. Like it becomes more and more and more like open on his face and his arms and stuff. And so like meanwhile he's sweating ass because it's like June and our practice space doesn't have any AC.
Yeah.
And that stuff's like keeping him from sweating because it's like all over his face. And so he's like overheating.
Sounds awful.
He decided to wear like
sweatpants and like a long sleeve like thermal shirt.
it doesn't
Why?
get hot as Texas here, but it's like 90 degrees and humid.
It gets fucking hot, especially in that space.
Humidity. And so he's like wearing like a thermal, and he's in like sheets in like the bed and stuff, and like fucking gyrating and shit. And he's just like, he can't do it anymore. And I'm like, bro, we just spent like fucking 8 hours doing this. Please let me like pour some blood on you. Like, I need to pour a gallon of high fructose corn syrup on you, like 6 gallons, some shit like that.
It was a lot.
And he's like, I can't fucking do it. And I'm like, please, man, let me kill you. And he's like, just starts like hyperventilating. He's like, we must suffer for art! So he like runs in, and we're like, all right, everybody get ready. And then we just dump a shitload of fucking blood on him. And like immediately after, we're like just taking his clothes off and like starting our cars so the AC will start and throwing him in there.
That's when I showed up. So like I missed the whole recording process, and I showed up, and he was like wearing like very minimal clothes in his car, just filthy and sweaty, just with the AC blasted.
There's broken glass on him, like high fructose corn syrup, and like food coloring, makeup, and like pieces of sweats all over him. It definitely was not worth it.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst ways we ever treated our friends. It was mad.
Yeah, and then we cut like probably half the video and like re-recorded the rest of it afterwards.
Yeah, just playing through it. Yeah.
But
And
I
this
mean,
was-
it was fun. It was a good experience.
This is all with Trevor too. Did we mention that?
Yeah, it was Trevor
Yeah, Trevor
Sweeney,
Sweeney.
who is a good friend of ours. He's done a lot of our promos, and like throughout the years, he did the Nirvana music video as well
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
all the
okay.
TVs. It's a very similar experience with the TVs. We had to like rent a U-Haul. We went and found a bunch of TVs,
Yeah.
and we actually like pulled all of those TVs into a room, and that was like hundreds and hundreds of pounds and a lot of lifting, a lot of cigarettes,
Lots of cigarettes.
lots of hams.
Yeah. Trevor's he's a great also a great videographer, photographer. He photographed my wedding, which is cool.
Yeah.
Just a solid dude. He's got
He's
great.
been on tour with like the Acacia strain too, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Lorna Shore, I think Suicide Silence. He was on tour with them at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, he's solid.
Great guy.
Does great work too. But
yeah.
yeah, that was
Let him
was
do your video.
that was a fucking nightmare. But it was
Trevor's
worth
good
it.
to work with. The nightmare was because we wanted something specific.
Yeah, for sure. It almost killed somebody.
The nightmare was for Matt.
Just putting your friends through all kinds of hell. I gotcha.
Yeah. That's why we play mathcore, for sure.
Yeah, come to our show.
Come to our show.
We're gonna
Support
make
your
a bunch
friends.
of music that you can't bear listening to. Come on, Mom.
Yeah.
Fork over the money.
Yeah. Tell me
And the pool.
Tell me you liked it. Please tell me you liked it.
So, what's next for you guys? Y'all planning on like doing a full length anytime soon, or was this supposed to stave us off for a while?
I don't think that it's supposed to stave you off for a while. I think we're probably like, we have our next few releases like thought out. We're not doing full lengths currently. As far as like total amount of shit that we're putting out, we kind of want to be like a little bit more economical about how we like put things out, you know, like, and have visual, like a visual aesthetic for the band, and continue like releasing things so that we're not like falling off on like people like forgetting about us and stuff. It's kind of like a business model that we're trying to like develop for ourselves more than anything. And
It's just like you said with that 4-year gap between Samsara and Avant Garbage. I mean, we want to be more present than that and release things more often.
Yeah.
And there are different ideas flowing through, and I don't think that anything's going to sound the same when we release like these segments of songs that are coming out. But like the next 4 songs that we're doing are like in some level of pre-pro, and we have goals to get those out by the end of the year. But we also had a goal to get Bedsores Domino Effect out last year. That was recorded in February of last year. Fortunately, there's no pandemic. Well, there's a pandemic going on, but it's not stopping us anymore.
Nobody seems to care anymore. So
So like we might be able to do it faster, and like the goal is to like release new music by the end of the year again. And then life's gonna happen to someone at some point here. So we can't like predict what's gonna happen down the road. But like we have another bunch of songs that are written. I'm not gonna spoil anything for anybody, but
so are y'all planning like every 6 months to drop something then?
Every 6 months, yeah. And if 6 months goes by and we don't release anything, something's terribly wrong.
The band's over with if you hadn't done every 6 months. But like, is that kind of like the basic idea though? Like
we just want to keep. I think our goal, and it's tentative, but our goal is to have to accumulate more songs that have it might be shorter in length as like as a record, but we want to produce songs more often. I feel like we've been I feel like stylistically we've changed a lot over the technically 4, but I'm going to say 3 releases. And we kind of want to keep that going, and we want people to be able to, at least speaking for myself, like I would love to have people like acclimate to like where we head and kind of see the progression moving forward. Like we have stuff that's written that sounds it's still in the same vein, and it's still something that we feel comfortable and like that we know it's something we want to do, but we're trying to just have more content and more of like a discog,
I mean, like I wouldn't expect the songs though to sound the same. I think that's something I would also put out there is like I think there was like a Protest Hero record that they released where they did like 6 songs on an EP where they recorded and wrote the song that month, and they released it on Bandcamp as like a streaming or as like a subscription thing, and they like released each song once at a time down the month. And it was like way more immediate to them. They felt good about the songs, and like just the way they talk about it, that's like something that really resonates with me, because like I think 6 months down the road, once these songs are recorded, the new ones that we're going to record, we're going to be in a totally different spot personally and as a group. And when we record a full length, we're not in a position where we can record a full length and have, whatever, $10,000 to shell out on a full length record, every year, every other year, every 3 years. And if we can pare that down, we can get more immediate satisfaction out of our releases because we're closer to them and we understand the artistic content that's going into them. And we can move on from them to something that we feel comfortable with too. Like if it's something that we're like, this was good, but it wasn't what we want to do anymore, we can just move on from it, and we're not stuck playing avant-garde riffs the next time the pandemic hits. Like in a room by ourselves, like we have like higher creative goals than just continuing to put out the same stuff. And I think that'll be like super noticeable once it comes out. And it may not be like totally noticeable with these 2 new songs that came out. Obviously Steve doing vocals changes a lot of stuff texturally, but I think like from a riff writing, from like tonal standpoint, and like how like everything sounds together, like all of us doing vocals, and our last 2 records were like all band records, they were like 2 guitars, bass, drums, vocals. And, like Samsara was like a much bigger project. And I think now that we have an idea of what we want to do songwriting wise, those textures are just going to like pop out way more. Like if we want to add synths or like programmed stuff, additional things, that shit's just going to like fly off the wall now.
Yeah, and to tail off of Cody too, like I feel like it's kind of like a quality versus quantity thing. Like, not to say that we felt like we're super rushed when we were recording Avant Garbage, but we were pushing it, especially like when it came down to vocals. Like Spencer had to like knock that shit out in like a day and a half, and like
That must have been insane. Like,
Not the
goddamn.
entire story, because he probably could have done some of that like over the course of a few days, depending on how we like scheduled our time.
either way, like we don't want to be in that position again where we're like trying to like haul ass to like get like a full length. It's like we'd rather have it to where like how we recorded our last, like the upcoming EP, like we would much rather, like for me, like it'd be better to just spend as much time as we can on these songs and having like a little bit more of like a limited space to work with, lengthwise and duration. Like we were able to focus so much time into just 2 songs, and it's like, all right, well, what if we do 4, like, all right, like say we do 4 songs and we give ourselves a week in a studio, like it's gonna sound better than it would if it was a full length that we try to pump out in a week, and like, and budget's always a concern, but we just want to
eliminate the budget.
We
like by doing less songs.
Yeah, and feel 100% like satisfied with what comes out at the end, because like there are things in Samsara and in Avant Garbage. I wouldn't change anything about how we recorded that. Like I'm happy with the way it sounds, but there's always those things, like those little things where it's like, fuck, like if we spent more time doing this part, or if maybe it could have came out different. Maybe it could have been like a better melody. Maybe it could have been like a more solid riff.
There was just none of that with this EP, because it was 2 songs. We knew exactly what we're doing, exactly what we wanted. We went in, did it, done.
Yeah. And there was just no bullshit, and we didn't have to like hurry, like we could just take our time and focus on the riffs and on the parts and make them sound as full and as nuanced as we can make them. And I think this is the first time where, for me personally, I've had like zero like, oh, what ifs, or like zero hesitation on like presenting this to people, because it's just something that I'm super proud of, and I think we can all say the same thing. So I think that's something we want to do moving forward.
No, I know what you mean. Even whenever you're happy, like recording the album or whatever, you look back on it and you're like, oh, those songs are definitely filler. You know what I mean? Like, no, like with my own stuff, I do that too. So yeah, I like the idea of EPs a lot as well. The one thing that makes me not want to do like just a bunch of EPs is I feel like the press or whatever is more likely to cover you if you do a full length. So is there like a fear of that, like with you guys, or are you just like, fuck it, like we're doing
I feel like the hype regarding an EP as opposed to a full length is, like, for me, it's like kind of like I don't know, like when a band says they're releasing like an EP, like whether it's like 2 songs a song or even like 4 songs, like, like in the past I wouldn't really be as hyped about it, and regarding the press too, like that, I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know, like
I would say I think we have a fucked up view as musicians as to what a full length versus an EP means. Like when someone who's a casual listener that just listens to music, that like brings this stuff in, most of those people aren't just listening to straight full lengths like me. Like, and I know that the rest of the guys do this too. It's like throw on the album and you listen to the album front to back and you get the experience. And I'm not trying to like downplay that at all. I know I'm sounding like sarcastic right now, but like that is like a huge part of how we grew up and how things like developed for us artistically. But there's just as much artistic value in short songs, in short releases, and making sure that the releases make sense and making sure that you're putting as much of yourself into those releases. Because if I'm putting out a full length and we do the same thing as we did with Out on Garbage, like looking back on it, I can say there's several songs, like I don't dislike them and I think they're good and I'm glad we recorded them. But if we could have developed the way that album came out, I would have taken certain songs out and I would have made the transitions different between songs. You know,
No, absolutely. And if you go to like you look at your Spotify streams and stuff like that, you can see that there's some songs that don't even really get listened to. And so it's like kind of like wasted effort or whatever. And
and I don't want to like place too much like time on streams because I do want to do this for
it's just a good way of
like,
seeing like what people connect with or whatever.
Man, that's the bottom line, right? Are people listening to the stuff that you're doing? It's not all that matters, but I mean, it makes it a lot more tolerable to put in all the work and all the money and all the effort to do the things, right? And so when you're presenting things in such a small package, it makes it more palatable to a listener, I think.
Yeah, and you could be proud of something too, like releasing a full, like you release like a full length record and like say like 15 people listen to it, and it's like you can be proud of that, but like I don't know, for me like I get fulfillment writing songs and playing music to entertain people, and that's why we play shows, and that's why we it's no secret that that's what it is. Like I'm very proud of what we do, and like if not to say our track record's great with like exposure as is like most bands that are in our genre, but like like I'm super proud of like the things that we've done and like in how we've grown as a band. And if our exposure stays the same, where like like few people going to shows and like and we're playing at a bar in fucking Iowa and there's like 5 people that show up, like I'm still gonna have a lot of fun, but like the entertainment aspect is huge, and that's why we do the thing that we do. And like the whole thing is like exposure, and like we have ideas that we're proud of, and like it's good that we have them recorded and we have them set in stone, but like we also want people to hear that shit, because like for me, like I feel like it's something that I would be super proud of showing anyone that is into anything that's even like adjacent to like the stuff that we put out, and and to deny that and to say that like you're just in it for yourself and for nobody else, you don't give a shit who listens to you and blah blah blah, like yeah, that's super punk rock, but like I want people to hear it. Like I'm right. Proud of it. It's shit that it's one of the few like aspects of my life that I can wear on my sleeve and be like, this is what it is, and we're happy, and so yeah, like I think
things in small packages makes that easier.
Yeah, for sure.
to wrap
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys did do like a pretty, I would call it a successful like debut, and now you've done this EP. Do you feel like the EP did what you expected it to do, like in terms of exposure, coverage, things like that, or do you feel like it didn't do quite as well as you thought it would do? That makes sense.
There's always more work to do. I mean, it's still got some coverage, and like we said, like the cool thing about just releasing 2 songs is that we don't have to go, lose sleep over how well 2 songs perform, because we're already working on the next thing.
Okay.
We're already more focused on recording the next thing. This thing was recorded a year ago. It's easier to move on, try on more hats, do more things. And I think there'll be a point, down the line where we have tried so many things in these EPs and decided on more what we want, that we'll be able to put out a better full length.
Okay. No, I really like that. I like that take. The one thing that makes me not want to do like a bunch of EPs also is like the vinyl thing and having to like wait so long to get that out. Dude. I see that y'all did drop vinyl for this though. how did y'all drop vinyl for like if you're trying to do if you're trying to do releases every time you finish the songs? How are you dropping vinyl at the same time, or has this been done for a long
we've
time?
ever done vinyl,
Yeah.
and we're like self-released. I mean, like, please sign us.
Well, I'm talking about like
Good
the
fucking
time to like wait to get
Yeah.
it out. Even like, isn't vinyl backed up like what
It's
like 8 months?
yeah,
or
it's
something?
terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really bad.
Absolutely.
I think that moving forward, at least for the immediate future, we're gonna try looking at different formats to release, and we're probably not gonna be going the vinyl route anytime soon again.
Well, it depends because there's also our local record store.
I forgot about that,
Not
yeah.
record store. Our local distributor just bought out a building and they're making a new vinyl plant, like a brand new vinyl plant
Ooh.
Right here in
in
Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
Damn, alrighty.
and
Yeah.
obviously, like, that's subject to change really fast because every business needs to go where the money is. So like they're well known for printing major labels already. So like that could change in a fucking instant. But you know, like if we can have something done and they can have something done faster than the rest of the country, by all means, we're gonna do it. But
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
it's a thing where it's like, because I mean, we're not going to wait a year again to release 2 songs just because vinyl is taking forever. I mean, if it's a thing where we have to throw up pre-orders and we say, hey, here it is, the songs are out, you're not going to get the vinyl for 6 months.
I'm pretty sure that's what Frontier did. I think their second run, they told people that it wasn't coming out till like a year after or something like
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, like,
Yeah.
is anybody that buys vinyl right now surprised by that? And if
Right.
they are, like, do they have enough tissue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't Black Matter Device just do that? Like, they put out the album. I don't think the vinyl's out yet, is it?
I have no idea. I didn't pick up a vinyl. I'm not
Yeah.
able to like buy too much vinyl nowadays. But
For sure.
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm really glad you guys talked with me about that, like about how y'all plan on releasing stuff. Like, I feel like that's the interesting stuff to talk about.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the nitty gritty things that like nobody really
Well, and I think like
wants to talk about.
nobody wants to like
Right.
talk about releases as like an actual like art thing either, because like this is all an art project. You
Yeah.
know, like, and we've done huge releases like fucking Samsara is like an hour, you know, and like
That was
Avant-Garde
dropped
is, like
3 weeks after our Facebook was created too.
Yeah.
So like a lot of bands' trajectory is like, hey, we're a band. Here's 5 songs, and they work towards an album. And we had the exact opposite thing.
Here's a 9-minute
maybe we're
song.
yeah, like maybe we're going backwards, but like I also feel like we need to like I hope that people can like understand that this stuff, like when it's released in a small package, like it doesn't mean less to us, and I hope it doesn't mean less to them. Like they don't feel like it's less for them to like pick up, because like we put just as much effort into this stuff, if not way more. I would say like we put in a lot more effort in these 2 songs than any 2 songs that we did on Garbage. And you know, like if nobody listens to it, that's fine. But,
No, I feel like this is probably the future, honestly. Like bands doing shorter releases like this, especially
Yeah,
like because of like vinyl backup and stuff like that. People are gonna be
Absolutely.
like, "Why the fuck am I doing an album if I have to sit on it for a year and a half or whatever?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, look at fucking, I mean, there's big bands that do this too. It's not just locals. I mean, like, look at like Bring Me the Horizon did that. I don't even remember what the name of the EP is, but everybody was like, oh, they're heavy again. And they get to do that because it's a fucking one-off EP with 6 songs.
Right.
And they get to do whatever they want. And then they're going to come back and do an album that's more commercially viable and great. And then Knocked Loose just did the same thing where they do like 6 tracks and they're fucking sweet and they
Yeah.
sound different. They have a
best
darker
shit
tone.
that they've released.
It's my favorite thing they've released. I take
That
it
video's
any day over
badass.
their earlier 2 albums. And you get more of a creative, like you have more of a grip when it's less material to make sure that it's concise, and like looking at Knocked Loose do that over the course of like a 20-minute 6-song bit is like, I enjoyed that way more as a listener.
Hell
So-
yeah. Well, guys, got any plans for like shows and stuff coming up?
Excuse me.
I take
Yeah,
that as a
we-
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, resounding.
Yeah, we got a few. We're playing in Fargo, North Dakota tomorrow, and then playing in Minneapolis at the Underground Music Cafe for our like official like album release show. Yeah, basically a party. Yeah.
Nah.
We'll have all our friends there, and then we'll tell them we're never playing Minneapolis again.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time.
next time.
I think my parents will be there. So
Hey, half tens.
Oh man, that'll be $10 in our pocket.
yeah. For sure.
Well,
And then next week,
Lacrosse.
lacrosse on
We're
Friday.
playing with a bunch of really sweet bands from Minnesota: By the Thousands, Waste, Inflict, Our Common Collapse, Agony Reigns, who our other guitar player plays in. Steve plays drums for them right now. It's a temporary thing, but like Agony Reigns is the shit. Shout out Agony Reigns. They're like a metalcore band. Like
They're like thrashy. Too.
yeah. They're like Trivium, like
Thrashcore.
For My Valentine.
For sure.
Kind
Oh,
of
my
stuff.
Valentine. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
True.
it's so cool. No, super stoked to play with all those bands. They're amazing. And then Fargo again with some like proggy bands. Like there's some proggy bands hanging out in Fargo.
That's in June.
Yeah, who'd have
Yeah.
thought?
It's gonna be pretty sick.
And then we're off for a while, and we're probably gonna go record again. So
nice. Every 6 months, man. Every 6 months.
Yeah. We're on a regimen now.
yeah, hold us to that schedule because we're absolutely gonna be on that
Yeah.
schedule. There's
And
gonna
then,
be no
then the
detours.
856 is gonna drop after
Oh
that.
my god.
But
On a
speaking
full-length
about
diet.
shows, what's the best show that you guys have played?
Ooh, our CD release
For Out on
for
Garbage.
sure was like
God, that was such a
Insane.
like up and down moment too, because like it was like fucking 100+ people showed up at this fucking cafe.
It's tiny.
So
cafe.
dope. And like a bunch of people we didn't know, like some of our friends showed up and shit, and like a couple parents showed up, but like it was mostly just people we'd never seen before, and we were like, what the fuck's going on here? And like it really felt like something was like rumbling.
We hadn't
Yeah.
headlined either
Nice.
before that, so we were kind of concerned about that. We're like, man, how's this gonna go? We
I'm
chose a
I'm
venue
assuming
that was
this is like
smaller.
something that happened like a year after the release or whatever, right? Because of, like
No,
COVID
it
and
was
stuff?
literally like February 20th of 2020.
yeah, it was
something
like
that.
Oh,
2
like
days-
right
2 days
before-
the release.
Right before everything got locked
so we're
down.
like,
Okay.
great, we did it. We're doing the thing, and
Yep.
then it was just like,
Gone.
Nice. Okay. All right.
yeah, pandemic, vocalist quits.
Yeah.
Great.
Just everything goes to shit.
Yeah. that was such a fun show though. I couldn't believe how many people were there.
I was scared for my pedal board's life.
Yeah, same.
I don't think that's my best show moment though. I would say when we played with 68.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
moment with Josh Scogan
Yeah,
backstage.
Josh Scogan came up and shook all of our hands, and like, I don't know if he actually gave a shit. Maybe he just does this to every local band he plays with because he's a cool guy. But he was like, "Hey, good. Are you a band member? Great. Keep doing what you're doing." And I was like, "Yes, sir."
Dude, what about when I Set My Friends on Fire gave us the shout out?
I was fucking gone then,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
heard about it, and that made me laugh.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
I was drunk as shit, and I set my friends on fire. Was like, hey, that local band was tight. Hey, that's us.
That's awesome. That's fucking sick. Well, what's your worst experience?
Madison. Knuckle Down Saloon.
Oh, yeah.
dude,
Not
yes.
so we played this festival. The first year we played it, we played like third or something. It
No,
was
we
like,
played it. Okay, dude, it was like 20 fucking bands, and it starts at like noon, and we played at like 4.
Which
was
sucks.
fine. It was
It sucks,
fine.
but it's fine. Yeah.
the second year we did the same thing, and they were like, "You're playing first."
At noon.
We're 4 hours away, right?
What the
Like
fuck?
Minneapolis is 4 hours away from Madison, so we had to go to play this bar at noon on a Saturday.
Yeah. Outside in
Wow.
the heat.
Dude, there was at like literally 0 people.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's
No, there was
sucks.
2.
There
There was 2.
two
Hey.
band
There was a
members.
sound guy and yeah, one of the band members for sure.
Yeah, cool. Okay, great.
But that was it. Yeah.
Dude,
that
that
was
fucking sucks.
Yeah,
for this
I believe it,
band,
man.
for this band, that was definitely my worst.
There'll be worse. There'll be something that's
There will be
not bad.
something worse.
There's probably other guys that would listen to this and be like,
I
No,
mean, like
that's
one time when
nothing.
I was like in a band, like we played in San Diego, and we were like a week into tour, and like nobody showed up, and there was this guy that was like Creepy Ron. That guy
Creepy Ron.
stunk really bad, and he was like talking about some like real like fucking weird sex shit, and he had like horns, like the fucking horns that they
implants?
bend. Yeah,
Yeah.
like implants.
Oh
Was
my
it-
like
God.
face tattoos?
Was it Devil Daddy?
And he was no, it was his name
Is that
was
a
Creepy
catatonic
Ron, and
goose
he's like,
guy?
my name's Creepy Ron, and he was talking about some like fetish stuff that he was doing that was definitely not okay,
Yeah.
like on any level with anyone. Like nobody was saying yes to this shit. And
Was he inviting you or?
I don't know. He said something about an oil funnel, and
Okay.
like I don't
Dude,
do
your mom
funnels personally, but like somebody's got to do funnel, and.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that
bro.
nobody fucking showed up. Smelled like piss. Creepy Ron's there funneling, and
Dude, I tell a story about my band when I was 16. That's a worst show.
yeah.
Go for
All
it.
right, we were gonna open for Chelsea Grin, which was like at the time when I was 16,
Ooh,
like the
shit.
sickest shit ever. It was like the first tour they did with Attila. Yeah, and our band was really bad. And we kicked out the guitarist because we were 15 and he smoked weed, and we were like, bro, that's not okay. So we got these two guys that we had never played with before, and it was the biggest show we had ever played. There's probably like 400 people there, and we were a bad band to begin with before we kicked out this guy. And we told our vocalist that we were going to kick him out afterwards because we didn't think that he was good enough at screaming, which is just like the ultimate like fucking 16-year-old band moment. And dude, it was Jack and Emmett. Do you remember that? You met them?
I don't
Right?
know.
No, whatever.
I know.
One of their guitars went out while we were
Yeah.
playing, and it was like a Line
Nice.
6 amp. Like it was just.
I did remember
Do you
Line
ever,
6.
do you ever like have a dream where you're covering a song you don't know how to play in front of a bunch of people?
I haven't had
It's
that
like
dream.
it's like when you get on the bus and you're not wearing clothes.
Hmm.
It was like that, except for it was a lived experience when I was 16.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of that, and Emmett had his like sweatshirt up the whole time, and his back was facing the crowd.
Yeah, good for him. He had a sweatshirt and he could turn away. I couldn't.
He was so ashamed.
Oh God.
That's so good. Oh my god.
It's terrible.
Justin, what's your worst show moment?
Every show he plays with
No.
our band. Oh, okay.
Can't think of one off the top of my head.
It's okay.
Yeah, probably the Madison one. That was
Yeah, someone for
That's some
bad.
bullshit.
Yeah.
a bad one.
Yeah, I do a clip for the episode like on Instagram, and there's like 4 of them that I'm trying to decide between now which one to pick because this has been such a good interview so far. You guys are
Oh,
awesome.
sweet.
Yeah, great. Hey,
Um,
we're gonna go over 45 minutes, right?
No, we're about double that almost.
yeah, we're
Well,
doing
we're doing really good.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for any human being that's made it this long, he said it's only gonna be fun if we make it over 45 minutes. And we doubled that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you come up to Minneapolis, let us book your show. Let us host
Yeah.
you. Please.
Dude, hell yeah, man. I'd love to play with you guys at some point. I was hoping to do like something in that area later on this year, but we'll see what
Okay,
happens.
let's make it happen. Hit us up.
So you guys have shirts, hoodies, vinyl, and CDs available on your Bandcamp.
We do.
You have I don't think you have CDs of the new EP, right? You just have vinyl
What's
for
that?
that one.
We don't have
It's just
CDs.
vinyl.
It's just vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have I think
Should be free to download on Bandcamp. Fucking hit it up on Spotify. We don't care. Don't give us your money. Give us your money. Fucking take the songs.
No,
Yeah.
dude, I'm all about that too. I love name your price on Bandcamp. I hate it when bands like charge for it. It's like, dude, people can just listen to your stuff on Spotify. Like,
They
don't
made
you-
us
Yeah.
like on the. I don't know if we fucked this up or not, but like on the pre-order, you had to spend at least $1.
Oh yeah, you have to. They make you do that.
Why?
Yeah, I know. It's
Fucking
weird.
take it.
Yeah.
Here's my money.
So let's wrap this up with your album of the year for last year, or if something's caught your eye this year. That one.
Justin.
Thou did a split with Emma Ruth Rundle, and there's a B-sides to it. I haven't listened to the B-sides yet, but the record is called Mayor Chambers Be Full. But there's a B-sides to that where there's probably like 4 or 5 songs. That has caught my eye. I have not listened to it yet.
Alrighty.
So I'm gonna do this because I have to everyone that I meet, but like the first ever podcast with Jeremy Bolm, it's fucking amazing. It's the best thing that's happened to me in the last year. Like I've just been like diving into that. It's so cool. just like interviewing like successful hardcore musicians about like their first experiences in music and just.
Wait, what's that one called?
It's called First Ever Podcast. It's sponsored by
Discover?
Hard Times,
Oh,
and
Hard Times, yeah.
Oh shit.
one of our affiliated. We're working with Discovered Magazine right now. Who,
Well, you're gonna be in a magazine? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, Discovered Magazine. They're
Okay.
like an international like print magazine. They premiered our video for Domino Effect. Very cool stuff. Really
Fancy.
happy to work with them. Georgia is the editor there. They rule. Really happy to be working with them. But First Ever Podcast turned me on to this band. They're called Zeta. They're like
I've heard of them
screamo-
before too.
they're like a screamo like math like Mars Volta
They're like
style
Mars
band.
Volta, yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because they're Venezuelan. They're like not even like close to like from fucking Texas. Like
They're from
second
Venezuela?
generation. Yeah. They're like
What
second.
the
they're,
fuck?
they're first generation like immigrants here.
Oh,
and,
so
like,
they live in America, but they're from
they live
Venezuela.
in Miami now, but
Okay.
they lived in Venezuela very recently.
Okay.
And their most recent record, I don't know if I can pronounce this right, but it's Todo Bolero, something like that.
Bailero, isn't it like dance, like total dance?
Yeah.
All the
But
dance.
It's like they've totally removed all of the like hardcore elements of their records, and it's just fucking unbelievable. It's for everyone. I have told everyone I know about this record, and I will not stop until everybody listens.
Interesting. So I've had a couple bands on here like talk about them, and like I've heard from promoters
Sick.
and stuff about like Zeta or whatever. So like I need to check them out then. Damn. Okay.
Please.
That
And
sounds
like
good.
Mokima is like their previous record is like a full length that's like got some screaming and stuff. It's a little bit more hardcore element, but like, man, that band is like the second coming of Mars Volta, and that's my fucking favorite band of all time. So like,
I remember when you messaged
Mars
the band
Volta.
because he messaged the band chat. He's like, this happens pretty frequently where like somebody finds something cool and they're just like, oh, fucking check this shit out. And they put it in like our Facebook band group chat or whatever. And I think Cody, yeah, you were the one that sent it, but you were also like, this made my day like a million times better than it was, And so I listened to, I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet, but I remember like, I think I was busy that day, like packing up drums or some shit. But I remember listening to like the first like 3 tracks in the car, and I was like kind of stressed because I was playing a show with
Agony
with Agony Reigns, and we're like kind of on a time crunch, and like we're waiting. We hit a train like on our way to like to our house to like grab all the drum shit, and like I was just like, God damn it, And then like I put that shit on. I was just like, oh, life's great, Like it's super good. It's really zesty.
Zesty Zeta, bro.
It is, man. Straight up.
Alliteration.
Yeah. Right.
What was yours?
Okay. So I want to say Radical by Every Time I Die.
Ding!
But it, like that album's just like super fun and like it's great and it's cathartic.
Excellent.
But the newest Genghis Tron record, that's something that like it's something I keep going back to. Like it's just so good, and like the drummer is amazing, and that's like one of the few like records I actually have on vinyl, and like me and my wife listen to it like when we're like making dinner. It's like one of those like records, and it's just, yeah, that's probably like my biggest takeaway from 2021 personally.
I'll just give you the quick list and I won't talk about any of them so you can get on with your fucking life.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. Love talking to
I already talked about the Knock to Loose EP. It's sick. Turnstiles Glow On. We all went to the Turnstile gig. It was sick last week. Ultra Pop is awesome. Love Ultra Pop.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know, man. Like it.
Don't
never really
even. I don't
connected
know.
to it. I never connected to it.
No, stop it.
It's your show. You can say whatever you want, but you're wrong.
Did it not jive with you very much, or?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just never really connected to it. I don't know.
Did you like the one before?
I never listened to them actually. That was my first experience with them.
Oh, really?
It's a hard listen for sure because I'd never
Yeah.
listened to The Arm before, like trying Ultra Pop, and I remember I was playing it like while I was in the shower and my wife was in the room like next door and she's like, dude, turn that shit
My
off.
girlfriend fucking hates that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I think it's so fun. I think it's like pop, like I almost said pop punk in a non-ironic way, but like it almost it is. It's like it's like what pop punk should
Troy
be.
Van Leeuwen from the Queens of the Stone Age is on that record.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's great. It's a great record, and it's just fun. And I like, dude, Mathcore Index talked about it, and they kept using the term maximalism to describe it. And I think that's such a fun way to describe what they're doing on that record, because it's just everything is turned up to 11 and over the top and fun, and all the ideas are thrown at the wall. Anyway, I'm doing the thing I said I wouldn't do.
It's my fault.
Yeah, fuck you. Vince Staples' self-titled record is awesome. Loved it. Happier Than Ever. Big Billie Eilish stan. Radical Sick.
You said that already.
Well, it's double sick. Double.
It is a double record.
And then Mood Valiant by
Hiatus Coyote.
Hiatus Coyote.
I haven't heard of them.
You should check them out, man. They're really good.
They're fun. That's cooking dinner music, man, right there. That's
It
what that is.
really
That's dinner
is.
party music, but you're like the fun dinner party guy that knows jazz,
Yeah.
that pretends to.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to say before we head on out?
Better not.
I mean, check out Agony Reigns. Check out us on Bandcamp, please. Love you.
Check out Zeta too. They're super
Check
dope.
out Zeta, please.
Zeta, sorry.
Whatever. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're looking for a more progressive tinge on your mathcore, you need to check out Bedsore's Domino Effect, the new EP from Motion Mosaic, which came out last Friday. Y'all are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube, all streaming platforms. Am I missing any other kind of social media stuff?
No.
That's it,
Subscribe
man.
to us on YouTube, please. We put a lot of effort into those music videos.
Definitely. Do you guys have a TikTok by any chance, or nah?
Not
We
yet. Our
don't.
guitar player is like 21 and he keeps threatening to do it.
But he just
So-
never does.
Yeah, he never does it.
Y'all should
Yeah.
do it. Y'all should do it. It's actually
no, I
it's
agree.
really
Have you done it?
yeah.
Do you have a TikTok?
I put a music video out there with like maybe 70 followers, something like that. And the next day I had 2,500 views on it.
Hell yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. And then I'll do
Alright,
another
I mean-
one and it gets like 200 views. It's really weird. I don't know how the algorithm works, man. I
don't
guess I'm a
think any of
boomer.
us
gotta
have a
do
TikTok
reels.
either. So I don't know.
But as for me, drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews. To hit YouTube as well as get some exclusive emotes by subscribing. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, folks. If you enjoyed the video, please tickle the like notification. Drop a like, tickle the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music with Sound Inspiration at soundinspiration.bandcamp.com. My album Boomers, Zoomers, Desperate Coomers is out now. My next guest is Greedworm, who dropped their debut EP, Hell Is Real, back in April through Tomb Tree Tapes. Join us this Sunday the 22nd at 7 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had a great time.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man. And thank you guys for watching and listening.
White